Hello and welcome to another World of Work video and another of our interview with series. And today I'm very pleased to say that we have Khadeejah with me. So hello, Khadeejah.
Hi.
And basically we're going to have another interview exploring what different routes are available to you and different courses. And today it's Khadeejah's turn to talk about her route and what she is taking. And so hopefully you can learn a lot from her experiences. So I'm going to get straight and started into this interview and say, Khadeejah, what course are you studying and where are you studying?
So currently I am doing a Police Constable Degree Apprenticeship, and that is with De Montfort University as well as Leicestershire Police. And so currently I'm studying online, which is just due to COVID reasons. And in terms of work, I've literally just been found out that I stationed at Keam Lane. So I will be starting there hopefully come April, so fully operational as well.
Wow, that exciting news. Congratulations for that. So in terms of, getting onto this apprenticeship, what kind of route did you take? What subjects did you take? Did you go, GCSEs, A levels, or did you take a slightly different route?
So I did my GCSEs, and the requirement was to pass necessarily maths and English. And in that sense, after that, I did go to college and I did 2 years of media studies, geography, and English language. And then after that, that was also a requirement to have a level 3 or equivalent. But then after that, I ended up doing a digital marketing course, which was a level 3 course. I did that for about 2 years or so. So that was quite exciting. And it was actually one of my first 2 jobs I had. And then it kind of led me into going into policing as well.
Fantastic. I mean, and what was it that made you want to follow pursue policing and do it as an apprenticeship rather than, because I think you can do it as like a degree, you can do it in like various different routes. What sort of appealed to you to do it as an apprenticeship?
I think necessarily the appeal was the fact that I'd be training and working and also studying at the same time. And I think that approach I felt was going to be better for me and more worthwhile, being able to, after 3 years, necessarily have a degree after that, as well as being able to have a lot more training and more knowledge necessarily as well. And to me, that was quite important. So necessarily going into the kind of course of policing, it was really important for me to kind of give back to my communities and liking to help people, as well as necessarily studying just the law and legislations as well. So I think it was a very broad and a variety of things to be able to learn on our course necessarily. And that's just the beginning at the minute, which I'm at the minute. So it's been really good.
No, it sounds fantastic. And then I guess another part of that is kind of the skills that you've learned from doing this course. What kind of things have you been able to sort of tackle whilst, admittedly it's quite early on in the course and a lot of it has been online, but have you been able to sort of get involved in a lot of various different skills?
So with a lot of our training, some of it is also where we actually go into our Force HQ and get to meet our colleagues and things like that as well. So when necessarily the training, there's a variety of things that we get to do, and we get a chance to necessarily use our equipment so that we're ready to go out on duty, and also IT training. So it's a lot of diverse and very variety of things to do. And that was probably what was really appealing, because with the skills that I've developed over the past 6 months, it feels like I've developed them for over a longer period of time, which is so great because my confidence has gone up by an extortionate amount. And I feel a lot more confident being able to talk to people, necessarily interact with people. And I think that's something that's really important in terms of developing skills and being able to actually go out there and do those things. And it's also having more knowledge as well within the police force. And in terms of IT and just basic skills that you learn throughout the process. And I think over the 6 months, I've been able to develop just that. So it's been really amazing. And because of the opportunities of being able to do things that are more a bit out of your comfort zone, it's giving you an opportunity to be able to venture out into different things. And I think it gives you a better insight into going into different departments that are available to you. So I think we do have that knowledge of the fact that it's not just one position that you'll be in for the rest of your career. It's just moving forward and moving up as well. So it's been really good in that kind of sense too.
No, that sounds great that you've had, what has been, let's be honest, quite a difficult time for many, particularly students, and it's been all over the place, that you've been able to just be, straight in there and kind of explore so many different things. So it almost seems like, the world is your oyster once the lockdown finishes and you can do things, you know, a lot more freely. So that sounds absolutely amazing, and also really interesting that you kind of spoke about, you know, obviously you've learned a lot of skills relevant to, you know, your studies and relevance to perhaps, you know, your future career path, but also personal skills like, you know, communication and, you know, confidence, the fact that they've been kind of like such an important thing. Do you really feel that that's going to help you, you know, from now moving forward in terms of just you personally going on in your life?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a big aspect, especially when I've in the past I've necessarily had issues with confidence building and things like that. Necessarily just social skills. But from being in the last 6 months, meeting a lot of new people every single day, it's just been able to show me that I can do that when I'm working now and probably for the rest of my career. And I think when it's personal development, I think it's a big deal because a lot of people will notice that within how you work as well. And I think it's that interaction between people and just building that rapport with people and that communication. That is probably top that I'd recommend for people, is that you get to develop your personal skills more than anything. And I think that makes you the real person that you actually are, and especially in a career that you want to be in and exploring your options. I think it's a very big step for people, especially for students as well, because it's that development that you know they'll get throughout their life, really.
No, absolutely. I completely agree. Thank you for sharing that. And then just in terms of, you know, a couple of things that you mentioned about, you know, being able to represent your community and helping each other and helping others as kind of like your main draws for going into policing. Is there anything else that kind of made you decide like, actually, yeah, policing is the route that I, you know, I wanted to pursue?
I think it was necessarily meeting people on the police force too throughout the journey of applying, and just having that reassurance that you were always going to have support throughout your policing career. And it was just that fact that you're not always going to be in that one position, you're always going to be moving forward. There's always going to be opportunities and different doors that are going to open. And I think that's a big deal, especially for students, is that we don't want to be in just one position. It's going above and beyond, really. And that's why I think it was really appealing to me, knowing that I'm going to have these opportunities and I just have to take them because I'll have that confidence within myself to move forward. And I think that was what necessarily pushed me and motivated me more. And having that support around people who were surrounding me as well, it was that, yeah, I think you should go for it. And I think it'd be something that you're really good at because it necessarily reflects your personality too. So it was a great thing that I'd have that support. And I think that just kind of added to the fact that I wanted to do that for probably the rest of my career.
No, definitely. And I think, yeah, support is such a huge factor for kind of making these big decisions. So it's great that you kind of felt that you had that level of support that you needed and throughout the whole journey, and that, you know, moving forward as well, you know that it's always going to be there backing you up. So I think that's a great piece of advice to share. And then I just, you know, perhaps, you know, one thing is there one thing that you'd like people to know who are perhaps thinking about applying to the police or applying onto your specific apprenticeship? Is there anything that you would like to share, whether it's a word of warning or perhaps, you know, one key piece of advice?
I think I would say have that confidence within yourself. The minute you apply, your confidence will build over time as well. And it's not just necessarily you have to be good straight away. You'll learn things over time and you'll always have that support no matter what you do, whether that's from the DMU side or the studying side, from the training up until working. You're always going to have supervisors and trainers and mentors that are always going to have your back throughout the whole process. And you're never going to feel like you're alone. So you're always going to have that kind of reassurance that someone's always going to be looking out for you. So it's not necessarily just I'm going to be thrown into the deep end. It's very built up, and your trainers make sure that you're ready to go out. And that's what's really important for people to know, is that it's not just a career that's kind of stressful or kind of just in the deep end, really. It's the fact that you've got people that are going to support you throughout the whole journey. So it's nothing to stress about or worry. It's just having that confidence.
I think that's a wonderful piece of advice, because I think a lot of young people worry that they do get a lot of support, you know, perhaps whether it's primary school, whether it's secondary school, even, you know, moving into sixth form or college or whatever. Whereas going to university, going into the world of work, they perhaps do fear that they're going to be, as you say, on their own, and it's going to be, you know, thrown into the deep end. But that's not the case at all, as you're saying, that you know, you do have all these support networks in place. So I think that's going to really reassure a lot of people that are perhaps, you know, it is a great concern that they're not going to have that support when they do need it. So I think that's a wonderful message. Thank you very much. And then kind of like the last question from me to finish on, it's probably a slightly cruel one, but maybe you can answer it. I don't know. And because you are in very early stages of this course, but once it finishes and, you know, you've kind of graduated and got your degree, what is it that you'd hope to be doing? I'm guessing obviously within the police force, but have you got like a specific role in mind, or you just still, you know, you'll take whatever you can get and kind of open to the various different options?
I think the minute I kind of graduate, I think I will want to move up in terms of ranks wise. So I'd want to go on to being a sergeant and necessarily even a mentor to a lot of new people that do come and recruit, because I think necessarily it's building that community within our police force as well, and having that reassurance to people as much as I've got that as well. And I think when I've seen my mentors with me, that's something important to me for what I want to do. So I think I'll definitely want to go into all of that.
I think that's lovely. That natural progression of, you know, giving back, we were helped and being able to help others. I think that's a wonderful message to share, to end on. So thank you very much for that, and thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate you, you know, taking some time out of your day to speak to others and to share your journey. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
No, my pleasure, and best of luck with the rest of your studies and the rest of the apprenticeship. Hope it goes well, and I look forward to seeing you out and, yeah, being sort of part of a wonderful police force. So thank you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much.
And to you guys who have been watching, thank you very much for taking the time. Hopefully you've learned a lot about the police force and different routes into policing, and potentially going into an apprenticeship route, if that's something that you might be interested in, or just apprenticeships in general. It's something to consider. Also, please do take a look at our other episodes in the Interview With series if perhaps this isn't something that you're quite interested in. There's so many other different routes that you could possibly take into various different careers. So please do look into them. Just keep doing your research, whether it's talking to your teachers at school, your careers staff, or looking online at the wonderful different resources that are available. Just please keep looking to see what it is that you want to be doing and how best to get there. At Pathways, we've got a wonderful website that you can use, and we're more than happy to help where we can. But from us right now, thank you very much for listening, and we shall talk to you soon. Goodbye.